So here also self is confirmed that his statement that the Supreme Lord, not the demigod, is the ultimate goal of all religious principles. There are many foolish propaganda who said that worship of demigod is also as a way to reach the supreme goal, but that is there. But in authorized statement of Srimad Bhagvatam and Bhagavad Gita, this is not accepted. Bhagavad Gita says that one who goes Yani devrata devan pitra yani pitrvata bhutani yanti bhuteja madhyajo nipami. This is the verse. So some propagandists say that regardless of what one does, he will ultimately reach supreme abode of personality of God. But this is not valid. The Lord is eternal, Lord's servitor is eternal, and the Lord's abode is also eternal. They are all described here as Sanatan, or eternal. The result of devotional service therefore is not temporary, as is achievement of the heavenly planet by worshipping demigod. That is temporary. The sages wanted to stress that although the Lord out of his causeless mercy said that he worshipped Brahman and Vaishnava, actually the Lord is worshipable not only by Brahman and Vaishnava but also by the demigods. People become respectful only by following rules of Dharma. Dharma is characterized by bhakti, not by steadiness in Varna ashram. Devotee institute that Dharma. Thus the devotees are superior to Brahmana. That is expressed in this verse. Sanatan Dharma, known as Bhakti, has arisen from you. Drishti satam darshanestu bhavatta tanunam. May our eyes see form of Vaishnava who are non-different from you. Srimad Bhagvatam 10:38. Since the devotees are non-different from you, Dharma is protected by your body in the form of devotees. Since they engage in bhakti everywhere, you are the final fruit of Dharma, not temporary attainment such as Swarga. You are without change, nirvikaraha bhavan. Attaining you is the result of bhakti to you. Other Dharma should not be explained by the word Sanatan or nirvikara. Only devotion can be like that. So we have finished verse number 18. Now we are going to verse number 19. Karanti hi anjasa mrityum nirvirtaha tad anugrah yad anugrah yogina sabhavam kim syad anugrayet yad parai. Yogi here means devotee. Mystic and transcendent by mercy of Lord cross beyond this sense by ceasing all material desires. It is not possible therefore that the Supreme Lord can be favored by others. Unless one is favored by Supreme Lord, one cannot cross over the ocean of nescience of repeated birth and death. Here it is stated that yogis and mystics cross beyond nescience by mercy of the Lord. There are many kinds of mystic: karma yogi, jnana yogi, dhyan yogi, bhakti yogi. Karmi particularly search after the favor of demigod. Jnani want to merge in this absolute. Yogi is satisfied simply by partial vision of the Supreme, that is Paramatma, ultimately by oneness with Him. How is that? Yogis, what is the destination of yogis? What is the destination of yogis?
Brahman, Prabhuji?
Yes, they merge in Brahm. Why? They meditate on Paramatma and they still merge in Brahm. Why?
Because there is no devotion, Prabhuji.
There is no
Devotion. Bhakti.
okay. Some other reason? There is no Paramatma in the spiritual world. There is no need of Paramatma in the spiritual world. So ultimately they end up in Brahma Jyoti.
But only this Gyanis, they merge into Bombajati. I mean this, but Yogis also merge into Bombajati. Then the different is the path is all the path is different. Is the destination is the same then.
Yeah, they also merge in Brahma because there is no Paramatma in the Vaikuntha. Paramatma is the feature is only in material world.
Okay.
Yogi means devotees. Prabhupada writes, therefore yogis here means devotees. By the mercy of Lord, devotees can easily pass beyond the nescience of birth and death and attain eternal abode of Lord. Lord is therefore not in need of another's favor, because no one is equal to or greater than him. Actually, everyone needs a favor of the Lord for successful understanding of his human mission. Among the Brahmins, those who are detached from material enjoyment, the yogis are better than those who are fixed in their position as a Brahman. The yogis, however, cross over the death only by the mercy of Lord. How can you say that you get mercy from others? Kim Swed indicates question or astonishment. Verse number 20. The goddess of fortune Lakshmi, dust of whose feet is worn on the head by others, wait upon you as appointed, for she is anxious to secure the place in the abode of the king of bees, who hovers on the fresh wreath of the tulsi leaf offered at your feet by some blessed devotee. As previously described, tulsi has attained all superior quality due to being placed at the lotus feet of Lord. The comparison made here is very nice. As the king of bees hovers over the tulsi leaves offered to the lotus feet of Lord, so Lakshmi, the goddess who is sought by the demigod Brahma, Vaishnavas, and everyone else, always engage in rendering service to lotus feet of Lord. The conclusion is that no one can be the benefactor of Lord. Everyone is actually the servant of Lord. You have said that Lakshmi does not give you up because you have served Brahmanas. That is difficult to understand since it is impossible. This is expressed in two verses, this and next. Lakshmi, the form of wealth, whose foot dust others desiring material benefit hold on their head, serves you at various times. She desires the place occupied by the chief of bees, situated on new garland of tulsi, offered by the devotees at your feet. Lakshmi is also only your devotee. Verse 21 again. O Lord, you are exceedingly attached to the activity of your pure devotees. Yet you are never attached to the goddess of fortune who constantly engage in your transcendental loving service. How can you be purified therefore by the dust of the path traversed by the Brahmanas? And how can you be glorified or made fortune by the marks of Srivats on your chest? You are not attached to the Lakshmi among those who do pure service simply because she is your wife. Rather, you are most attached to the greatest devotees. How can you say that you, full of six opulence and marked with Srivats, have been purified by the pure dust on the path tread by Brahmans? In Brahma Santa, it is said, Lord is always served by 100 and 1,000 of Sahasra Lakshmi Sahasra. That's a. He is also attached to, he is not attached to any one of them. Lord has six opulences. All the demigods and other living entities worship Lakshmi just to get her favor. Yet Lord is never attached to her because He can create an unlimited number of such guardians of his transcendental service. All the Lakshmis are expansion of Radharani. The goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, is sometimes envious of the tulsi leaves, which are placed at the lotus feet of Lord, for they remain fixed there and do not move. Whereas Lakshmi, although stationed by the chest of the Lord, sometimes has to please other devotees who pray for her favor. Lakshmi ji sometimes has to go to satisfy her numerous devotees, but Tulsi leaf never forsake their position. And Lord therefore appreciates the service of Tulsi more than service of Lakshmi. When the Lord says, therefore, that is due to the causeless mercy of Brahman that Lakshmi ji does not leave him, we can understand that Lakshmi ji is attracted by the opulence of Lord, not by Brahman's benediction upon him. Lord is not dependent on anyone's mercy, for his opulence is always self-sufficient. Lord's statement that his opulence is due to the benediction of Brahman and Vaishnava is only to teach others that they should offer respect to Brahman and Vaishnava, the devotees of the Lord. This is just to set an example. Chakravarti Pad writes, you are not very attached to Lakshmi by pure service. The word Ati indicates that Lord is not attached to Lakshmi just because she is a wife, but he is attracted by her service as a devotee, and he is attracted to the greatest devotees. How can you say that Lakshmi does not give up, though she serves you and you are indifferent to her simply because of mercy of Brahman? Do you mark with Sri Vats obtain the pure dust from the path of Brahman? You are endowed with 6 powers, Bhagvajanaha. How can they, with their pure dust, purify you marked with Sri Vats? This is difficult to understand. So Kumaras are now reflecting on the words spoken by Supreme Lord. Verse 22. Bhagavatsaha dharmasyate bhagavat triyuga tribhi swaihi. So triyuga and tribhi, this is the purport. Padabhihi characharam idveja devartham nyonam vratam tada abhigati rajastamascha satvena no vardayaha tanuvaha nirasyaha. Please protect us from the ignorance and passion. Bring us to goodness. They are praying now. So, O Lord, you are the personification of all religion, dharmasya. Therefore, you manifest yourself in 3 millennium, 3 yugi. And thus you protect the universe, this universe, which consists of animate and inanimate, moving and non-moving. By your grace, which is of pure goodness, Suddha Sattva, and is the bestower of all blessing, kindly drive away the element of Rajas and Tamas for the sake of demigod and twice born. Lord addresses 3 yugi. He appeared in 3 yuga, not in Kali Yuga, because in Kali Yuga he appeared as a Chan avatar. It means hidden incarnation, and that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore he is called 3 yugi. The another meaning of 3 yugi, Sridhar Swami says, 3 means 3, yuga means double. 3 double means 6 opulences. So 6 opulence means 3 yuga also. So the 2 meanings of 3 yugi are clear now. There is a third meaning of 3 yugi. In that way, he can be addressed at 3 yugi. The Lord is the personality of religious principle. In 3 millennium, religious principle are protected by 3 kinds of spiritual culture. What is that? Namely, austerity, cleanliness, and mercy. That is also 3 yugi. This is also the third meaning of 3 yugi. Austerity, cleanliness, and mercy. The Lord is called 3 yugi in that way also. So by now we have 3 meaning of 3 yugi in this verse. In the age of Kali, these 3 requisites to spiritual culture are almost absent. But the Lord is so kind that in spite of Kali Yuga being devoid of these 3 spiritual qualities, he comes and protects the people of this age In his covered incarnation as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Chaitanya is called covered because although he is Krishna himself, he presents himself as devotee of Krishna, not directly Krishna. Devotees pray to Lord Chaitanya therefore to eliminate their stark passion and ignorance, the most conspicuous assets of this yuga. In the Krishna conscious movement, one cleans himself of mode of passion and ignorance by chanting the holy name of Lord. Hare Krishna, as introduced by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. 4 Kumaras were cognizant of their situation in the mode of passion and ignorance because they become angry. Because although in Vaikuntha they wanted to curse devotees of Lord, since they were conscious of their own weakness, they prayed to the Lord to remove their still existing passion and ignorance. The 3 transcendental qualities, cleanness, austerity, and mercy, are the qualification of the twice born and demigod. Those who are not situated in the quality of goodness cannot accept these 3 principles of the spiritual culture. For Krishna conscious movement, therefore, there are 3 sinful activities which are prohibited, namely illicit sex, intoxication, and eating food other than prasad offered to Krishna. These 3 prohibitions are based on the principle of austerity, cleanliness, and mercy. Devotees are merciful because they spare the poor animals, and they are clean because they are free of contamination from unwanted foodstuffs, unwanted habits. Austerity is represented by a restricted sex life. These principles indicated by the prayers of the 4 Kumaras should be followed by the devotees who are engaged in Krishna consciousness. Verse number 23. O Lord, you are protector of highest of twice born, Dvejottama. If you do not protect them by offering worship and mild words, then certainly the auspicious path of worship will be rejected by people in general who act on the strength and authority of your Lordship. In Bhagavad Gita it is stated by the Lord himself that the act and character of great authorities are followed. Ye yatha mam prapadya. No. What is verse is this? Which verse is this?
Yad yad acharati
Yad
shrestha.
yad acharati shrestha teva teva eva trujana. Yes, this is the verse. So now Srila Prabhupada further writes, the Vedic injection is that one cannot understand absolute truth simply by mental speculation or logic argument. One has to follow the authorities. Mahajano yena gatasa pantha. Great authorities should be followed. Otherwise, if we simply depend on scripture, we are sometimes misled by rascals, or else we cannot understand or follow the different spiritual injections. This is also very practically applicable now. Some people say Prabhupada in the books is the only guide. There is no need of living guru. So if we don't have a example authorities to teach us, only books, so we cannot understand directly. The best path is to follow the authorities. The 4 Brahman sages stated that Krishna is naturally the protector of cow, Brahman, and Go Branhitai. When Krishna was on this planet, he set a practical example. He was a coward boy and he was very respectful to Brahman and devotees. It is also often here and that Brahmans are best of the twice born. Twice born are Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Brahman. But out of these 3, Brahman should be more protected and respected. Of all class of men, the Brahmans and the Vaishnavas should be given a special protection. They should be worshipped. Then their protection is performed. It is just like worshipping God. That is not exactly protection. It is a duty. One should worship Brahman and Vaishnava by offering them all kinds of endowments and sweet words. And if one has no means to offer anything, at least he should speak sweet words. in this system is not in this if this system is not introduced by the leaders, then human civilization will be lost. When there is no protection and special treatment for the persons who are devotees of the Lord, who are highly intelligent in spiritual life, then the whole society is lost. The word Nanakshati indicates that such civilization become spoiled and annihilated. Kind of civilization recommended is called Deva Patha, which means royal road of the demigods. Demigods are supposed to be fully fixed in devotional service or Krishna consciousness. That is the auspicious path that should be protected. If the authorities or the leaders of the society do not give special respect to the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas and do not offer them not only sweet words but all facilities, then the path of progress will be lost to the human civilization. The Lord personally wanted to teach this, and therefore he offered so much praise to the Kumaras. Devapat, so demigods are all Vaishnavas. All demigods are Vaishnavas.
Areshna Prabhuji,
Yes.
Prabhuji, what is the difference between fully fixed in devotion service and pure devotees?
The demigods are called Sakama Bhakta, and pure devotees are called Niskam Bhakta.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
In third canto and earlier chapters, there is a difference between the demigod and a devotee. Devotees preach, demigod never preach. Because they preach, therefore they are pure, they are very dear to Krishna. Demigod, they follow the Supreme Lord, but they don't have a compassion or mercy on the fallen souls. And 11th canto, it is said that there is a difference between devotees and demigod. Demigods sometimes become angry and have the suffering to the humanity, like the Adi Devak Klesha. But devotees are never angry. They always are merciful to the conditioned soul. So there is a little difference between the two.
Yes, Prabhuji, in the Vritasur pastime, Prabhuji, they pray to Lord Vishnu and then they ask for killing Vritasur and not for. So the Lord was a bit unhappy with them. So this I just read few days back, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Vritasur is a great devotee, Chitraketu. He was already at the stage of Bhava Bhakti, which was obstructed because of Vaishnava Aparad. And when that Aparad is removed, his pure devotion manifested. So while Indra was feeling offended, because Indra was feeling guilty because he has killed a great devotee. And he suffered the consequence of killing Vritasur also. Verse 24. Dear Lord, you never want the auspicious path to be destroyed, for you are the reservoir of all goodness. Just to benefit people in general, you destroy the evil elements by your mighty potency. You are the proprietor of three creations and the maintainer of the entire universe. Therefore, your potency is not reduced by your submissive behavior. Rather, by submission, you exhibit your transcendent pastime. You, the ocean of Sattva, who desire the welfare of people and who weed out the opposer of Dharma by your empowered kings, do not desire the destruction of Dharma. Since you are the Lord of three worlds and maintainer of the universe, your power is not decreased, though you act with humility to the Brahmanas. That humility is only your play, vinod. Somebody can read the purport?
Yes, Prabhuji, I can read. Lord Krishna was never reduced in his position by becoming a coward boy or by offering respect to Sudama Brahman or his other devotees like Nand Maharaj, Vasudev, Maharaj Yudhishthir, and the Pandavas' mother Kunti. Everyone knew that he was the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, yet his behavior was exemplary. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is Satchidanand Vigraha. His form is completely spiritual full of bliss and knowledge, and it is eternal. Because the living entities are his parts and parcel, originally they also belong to the same quality of eternal form as the Lord. But when they come in contact with Maya, the material potency, due to their forgetfulness, their existential constitution is covered. We should try to understand the appearance of Lord Krishna in this spirit, as the Kumaras pray to him. He is eternally a coward boy at Vrindavan. He is eternally the leader of the battle of Kurukshetra, and he is eternally the opulent prince of Dwarka and the lover of the damsels of Vrindavan. All his appearances are meaningful because they show his real characteristics to the conditioned souls who have forgotten their relationship with the Supreme Lord. He does everything for their benefit. The force exhibited in the battle of Kurukshetra through the desire of Krishna and through the agency of Arjuna was also necessary because when people become too religious, force is required. Non-violence in this respect is rascaldom. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
So I think this is he may act as a coward boy or son of Nanda or bound by Yashoda, still he is God. He is not reduced by praising to the Brahman.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Ah.
Prabhuji, I just got to know that in Gujarat there are certain sampradaya who just pray to the child form of the Lord, like the Bal Sarup, and not when he is grown up, like in the Kurukshetra war. So how do we look at that, Prabhuji?
Yeah, this is Pushti Margis. They have a they have a Vatsalya Bhav and they worship the Krishna as a Lala or the small child, and their Mangala Arati is also 6-7. They cannot wake up the boy early in the morning. So, and they have all the toys and everything and coward boys up till that. Yeah, they have mostly the worship in a Vatsalya Bhav.
Is that authentic, Prabhuji?
Yes, it's a Pushti Marg. In a nectar of devotion, Rupa Goswami says there are Pushti Margis, some Vaishnavas. That is a Vishnu Swami Sampradaya coming from Rudra Sampradaya. Mostly their worship is child Krishna or the lifter of Govardhan. Let the Vedic path be.
That is the Srinathji Babu.
Yes. Let the
Srinathji.
right. Let the Vedic path be destroyed. What do I care? The destruction of path is not desired by you, who desire good for all people, by giving them engagement in action, or the dead. Janaya can good for by your power. Through kings in this world, you weed out the opposite of dharma, which Srila Prabhupada has written. You have used Arjuna. But does not humility before lesser beings reduce power? Your power is not reduced when you act with humility before the Brahmanas for the purpose of rescuing dharma. That humility is only your play. Vinod. Last verse of this section.
Hare Krishna Babuji,
Yes.
this verse, in the purport of this verse, in the 24, Lord Krishna never reduced his position, even though he is offered respect to Sudama and all the devotees, Nanda Maharaj, Vasudeva. And then Prabhupada is writing that everyone knew that he was the supreme personality of Godhead Krishna. But Prabhuji, what we understand that Nanda Maharaj was also Nanda Maharaj never thought that he is the supreme personality of Godhead because of the Yogamaya potency. So how we can understand these things, Prabhu?
It's not that Nanda Baba understood that Krishna is supreme person of God. Prabhupada is saying in all these relations he is always supreme personality of Godhead. Everybody knows means everybody. It means the all saints and everybody understand Krishna is God, though he is acting as a child. This is his madhurya. So Prabhupada has given the 3 levels: Vrindavan, Kurukshetra, and Dwarka. So his opulence, some devotees are Aishwarya devotees, some are Madhurya devotee, but in all cases he is Supreme Personality of Godhead. All were not knowing, Duryodhana. Actually, only few person knew that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. But what Prabhupada is saying, Krishna is God, that is in all Vedic literature actually.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Last word. O Lord, whatever punishment you wished to award to these two innocent persons or also to us, we shall accept without duplicity. We understand that we have cursed two faultless persons. Agaso, unagaso, sinless. The sages, four Kumaras, now reject their cursing of two doorkeepers, Jay and Vijay, because they are now conscious that persons who engage in the service of the Lord cannot be at fault at any stage. It is said that anyone who has implicit faith in service of the Lord, this is the verse from Bhagvatam, or who actually engage in loving service of God, all good qualities of the demigod, Bhakti Bhagvata Akinchana. Therefore, the devotee cannot be at fault. If sometimes it is found that he is in error by accident or by some temporary arrangements, that should not be taken very seriously. The cursing of Jay and Vijay is here repented. Now the Kumara are thinking in terms of their position and modes of passion and ignorance, and they are prepared to accept any kind of punishment from the Lord. In general, when dealing with the devotees, we should not try to find faults. In Bhagavad Gita also it is confirmed that the devotees who faithfully serve the Supreme Lord, even if found to commit a gross mistake, should be considered a sadhu, a saintly person. Due to former habits, he may commit some wrong, but because he is engaged in the service of the Lord, that wrong should not be taken very seriously. There is one analogy given there. Which analogy anybody knows? It is not here. Apichet Duracharo is a verse. The analogy is given of the moon with a black spot. This black spot on the moon does not obstruct the coolness of the moon or the nectar of the moon falling on the earth. Moon and a black spot. The devotee is like a moon, and some offense is like a black spot. This is the analogy in somewhere, some other part of the Vedic literature. Next section. This section is Lord reconcile the situation, 26 to 32. Bhagavan Vacha. The Lord replied, O Brahmins, know that punishment you inflicted on them was originally ordained by me, and therefore they will fall to a birth in demonic family. But they will be firmly united with me in thought through mental concentration intensified by anger, and they will return to my presence shortly. This is a Samrambha Amrit Samadhi Anubaddha Yoga. Samadhi in anger. Lord stated that the punishment inflicted by the sages upon the doorkeeper Jay and Vijay was conceived by Lord himself. Without Lord's sanction, nothing can happen. It is to be understood that there was a plan in cursing of the two devotees in Vaikuntha, and this plan is explained by many stalwart authorities. What is the plan? Lord wanted to fight, and there was nobody who can fight with Lord. Only devotees will act as opponent of the Lord. So it was the desire of the Lord that Jay and Vijay, they should go down on the earth, because fighting can be only in the material world. In the spiritual world, there is nobody enemy of Lord. So this is the purport. And Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada writes 4:8, Paritranaya Sadhunam. So non-devotees are only in the material world. They are not in the spiritual world. Therefore, Lord wanted to fight. But who will fight with the Supreme Lord? No one be able to fight with him. Therefore, because Lord's pastime in the material world are always performed with his devotees, his associate, not with others, he has to find some devotee who will play the part of an enemy. Therefore, just as on a theatrical stage, someone takes the part of enemy to the proprietor of the stage, although the play is for a short time and there is no permanent enmity between servant and proprietor. So the Surjana devotees were cursed by the sages to go to the Asurjana or atheistic family. That a devotee should come into an atheistic family is surprising, but simply a show. After finishing their mock fighting, both the devotees and the Lord are again associated in the spiritual planet. That is very explicitly explained here. The conclusion is that no one falls from the spiritual world or vacant planet, for it is the eternal abode, but sometime, as the Lord desires, devotees come into this material world as preachers or as atheists. In each case, we must understand that there is a plan of the Lord. Lord Buddha, for example, was an incarnation, yet he preached atheism. There is no God. But actually there was a plan behind this, as explained in Bhagavatam. Very lengthy purport by Chakravarti Pad. Jay and Vijay had a desire arising from Prem. O best of Lord, O Lord of Lord, Lord of Vaikuntha, if your fighting instinct is not satisfied because everyone else is so weak, and because we are not your enemies, then make us two gods unfriendly forward towards you, and you can have pleasure in fighting us. Since we servant cannot tolerate even a small degree of decrease in your full happiness, we pray that this should be done by necessarily ignoring your quality of affection for your devotee. This is how they thought. Jay and Vijay are thinking like that. So Lord has all the mellows. So Lord wanted to enjoy the Veer Ras. And Veer Rasa means the chivalry. Even the greatest devotee can fall from Vaikuntha because of great offense. What then to speak of where we, who are just dull reflection of sadhak, can fall from this earth planet? Thus should be understood that Lord desired to warn the sadhak to be careful in committing great offenses. Verse number 27. Brahma Vacha. Now Brahma is telling to the demigods. Brahma said, after seeing the Lord of Vaikuntha, the Supreme Person of Godhead, in self-eliminated Vaikuntha planet, the sages left that transcendental abode. So Srila Prabhupada said right here, Bhagavad Gita says, Na tad bhashyate shuryo na sasanko na pavak yad gatvan nevarantanta dhama paramam mama. So this verse Srila Prabhupada is quoted. And then Srila Prabhupada writes, Krishna says that once one goes to that Vaikuntha planet, he never returns. The inhabitant of Vaikuntha never returned to the material world. But the incident of Jay and Vijay were a different case. They came to the material world for some time and then they returned to the Vaikuntha. Verse number 28. Bhagavatam parikramya, they circumambulated four Kumaras, Supreme Lord. Pranipatya anumanya cha, they got permission. Pratigamyoho pramudita, happily they left from there. Samsito Vaishnavim Shriyam. The sages circumambulated the Supreme Lord, offered their obeisance and returned, extremely delighted at learning the divine opulence of the Vaishnava. Srila Prabhupada, it is still respectful practice to circumambulate Lord in Hindu temple. Especially in a Vaishnava temple, there is an arrangement for people to offer their respect to the deity in a circumambulate temple at least 3 times. This is somehow, I don't know, it could be some printing mistake or what. Vaishnava temple, the parikrama is 4 times. I think 3 times is Ganesh or something like that. 1 time is Devi. There are different rules for circumambulation. Vaishnava temple is 4 in nectar of devotion. So here's 3, we accept 3, but the 4 is the standard. The Lord then said to his attendant Jay and Vijay, depart this place, but fear not, all glory is unto you. Though I am capable of nullifying Brahman's curse, I would not do so. On the contrary, it was my approval. Srila Prabhupada writes, as explained in connection with verse number 26, all this incident took place at the approval of the Lord. Ordinarily, there is no possibility that the 4 sages could be angry with the doorkeepers, nor could the Supreme Lord neglect his 2 doorkeepers, nor can one come back to the Vaikuntha after once taking birth here. All these incidents therefore were designated by Lord himself for the sake of his pastime in the material world. Thus he plainly says that it was done with his approval. Otherwise it would have been impossible for the inhabitant of Vaikuntha to come back to this material world simply because of the Brahmanical curse. The Lord especially blesses the so-called culprit. All glories unto you. A devotee once accepted the Lord can never fall down. That is the conclusion of the incident. Seeing the Jay and Vijay had arrived, Lord spoke, go to the material world. Seeing them weeping and wailing, Lord again spoke to them. His heart softened by compassion. Do not fear. May you too have good fortune. Do not go there. Always remain serving me in Vaikuntha. The negative word ma can be used with both yatam and vaishtam. Seeing that they were now happy, he said, though I can nullify the curse of the Brahmins, I do not desire to destroy my own promise. I have made a rule to accept the inevitability of Brahman's curse. Just Garuda sacrificed an expansion of his wing in order to maintain the inevitability of thunderbolt power. You should take an role of demon in one of your expansion and at the same time remain in Vaikuntha in your Swarup. So this is very informative purport. Remember always this, because this verse is quoted here, and this verse is quoted from the fight between the Bali Maharaj and his party with the demigods. At that time, it says, Jay and Vijay were there along with the other. Nanda, Sunanda, Jay, Vijay, Prabha, Bala, Kumuda, Kuma, Daksha, Vishwakeshena, Patreta, Garuda. Jayanta, they were there. It means, what is the meaning? The meaning is this. In narration of Vaman Bali, Jay and Vijay are mentioned among the associate of Lord fighting. But after being born as Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakshibu, they could later be born as Ravan and Kumbhakarna. The explanation of their expansion must be given in order to resolve the contradiction of being simultaneously in the form of demon and associate of Lord. Is it clear? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.
No, Prabhuji, actually not clear.
Not clear?
So, Prabhuji, Jay and Vijay remained in Vaikuntha as well as they were on the earth as well.
Yeah, there is a double role. Expansion came down and they remain in their swarup there.
Okay, Prabhu.
It's possible. Verse number 30. This
Prabhuji, this is similar to Chaitanya Leela where one deity has multiple expansions in the Chaitanya Leela.
Yeah, deities can
It's similar
expand
to-
also. Deity can, a person can expand. They can have more than one thing going on at one time. So Chakravarti Pad is writing as if he is seeing. They were crying, so he said, "Don't cry, stay here, don't worry." But because Garuda also once was hit by the thunderbolt of Indra, therefore he gave a one piece of his feather in respect of thunderbolt. So similarly, you should also respect the curse of Brahmana and send your expansion to the material world, but you stay in your soap here. So with this analogy of Garuda, this is explained.
Prabhuji, why did Yamraj not do this and he had to come as Vidura?
But that is also pastime. There is also pastime for some reason. He came as three, not one. He came as a Vidur, he came as a Yudhishthira, and he came as a Chandal Valmik. This departure from Vaikuntha was foretold by Lakshmi. Now the another reason for their curse. This departure from Vaikuntha was foretold by Lakshmi. Etad purvai nirdishtam ramaya krodhaya yada. By Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, she was very angry because when she left for my abode and then returned, you stopped her at the gate while I was sleeping. That's another reason. Some other reason of your fall in the anger of Lakshmi. Verse 31. Lord is saying, Sambhram Yogena. Lord assured the two Vaikuntha inhabitants, Jay and Vijay, by practicing the mystic yoga system in anger, you will be cleansed of the sin of disobeying the Brahmins and within a very short time return to me. Supreme Personal Godhead advised the two doorkeepers Jay and Vijay that they didn't of bhakti yoga in anger, they should be delivered from the curse of Brahman. Srila Madhav Muni remarked in this connection that by practicing bhakti yoga, one can become free from all sinful reaction. Even a Brahma shap or a curse of a Brahman, which cannot be overcome by any other means, can be overcome by bhakti yoga. One can practice bhakti yoga in many rasas. There are 12 rasas, 5 primary and 7 secondary. The 5 primary rasas constitute direct bhakti yoga. But although the 7 secondary rasas are indirect, they are also counted within the bhakti yoga if they are used in the service of Lord. In other words, bhakti yoga is all inclusive. If one somehow or other become attached to the Supreme Lord of God, he becomes engaged in bhakti yoga as described in Srimada Bhagvatam 10:29-15. Kamam, Krodam, Bhayam. The gopis were attached to Krishna by bhakti yoga in relation by lusty desire. Similarly, Kansa and bhakti yoga by fear of death. This bhakti yoga power becoming enemy, always thinking of him and deliver very quickly. Vishnu Bhakta Samarto Deva Asura Tadvipriyaha. Devotees of Lord Vishnu are called demigod, whereas the non-devotees are called Asura. But bhakti yoga is so powerful that both demigod and Asura can derive its benefits if they always think of personality of Godhead. The basic principle of bhakti yoga is to think of Supreme Lord. There is in Bhagavad Gita Manmana Bhavat Bhakto. So one principle of bhakti yoga, Yena Kena Prakarena Mana Krishna Padaravinda Niveshaya. In this material planet, there are different grades of sinful activities, of which disrespecting Brahman and Vaishnava is the most sinful. Here it is clearly stated that one can overcome even the grave sin simply by thinking of Vishnu, not even favorably but in anger. Thus, even if those who are not devotees always think of Vishnu, they become free from all sinful activities. Krishna consciousness is the highest form of thought. Lord Vishnu is a thought of in this age by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. From a statement of Bhagavatam, it appears that if one thinks of Krishna even as an enemy, that particular quality of thinking of Vishnu or Krishna cleans one of all sins. Now, next last section or last verse of this section. After thus speaking at the door of Vaikuntha, the Lord returned to his abode, where there are many celestial aeroplanes and all surpassing wealth and splendor. It is clear from this verse that all the incident took place at the entrance of Vaikuntha. Very important statement. In other words, the sages were not actually within Vaikuntha Lok, but were at the gate. It could be asked, how could they return to the material world if they entered Vaikuntha? But if actually they did not enter, therefore they returned. There are many similar incidents where great yogis and Brahmins, by dint of their yoga practice, have gone from this material world to Vaikuntha Lok. But they were not meant to stay there. They came back. It is also confirmed here that the Lord was surrounded by many Vaikuntha airplanes. All the other living creatures, including demigod, are born of Brahma, and Brahma is born of Vishnu. Krishna is stated in Bhagavad Gita, Aham Sarvasya Prabhava. So Lord Vishnu is the origin of all manifestation in the material world. Those who know that Vishnu is the origin of everything, who are conversant with the process of creation, and who understand that Vishnu or Krishna is the most worshipable object of all living entities, engage themselves in Vishnu worship as a Vaishnava. The Vedic hymn also comes from Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam. So if they don't worship, they fall down. Next section 33 to 37. Brahma conclude the narration. So this answers the question of the demigods, why there is a darkness in the planet. But those two doorkeepers, the best of the demigods, their beauty and luster diminished by the curse of the Brahmins, became morose and fell from the Vaikuntha, abode of the Supreme Lord. Then the Jay and Vaj fell from the Lord's abode. A great roar of disappointment arose from all the demigods who were sitting in their splendid airplanes. Demigods are disappointed. Lord Brahma continued, these two principal doorkeeper personalities who guarded are now entered the womb of Diti, the powerful semen of Kashyap Muni, having covered them. This is the reason for darkness. The two now enter the womb of Diti. Here is a clear proof of how a living entity coming originally from Vaikuntha is engaged in material elements. The living entity takes shelter within the semen of father, which is injected in the womb of mother. And with the help of mother's amplified ovum, the living entity grows in a particular type of body. In this connection, it is to be remembered that the mind of Kashyap Muni was not in order when he was conceiving the two sons, Hiranyaksh and Hiranyakashipu. Therefore, the semen he discharged was simultaneously extremely powerful and mixed with quality of anger. It is to be concluded that while conceiving a child, one's mind must be very sober and devotional. For this purpose, Garbhadan Sanskar is recommended in the Vedic scripture. If the mind of the father is not sober, the semen discharge will not be very good. Thus, living entity wrapped in this matter, in the matter produced from the father and mother, will be demonic like Hiranyakashipu. Condition of the conscience have to be carefully studied. That is a very great science. Verse 36. This is the power, or this is the prowess of these two asura that has disturbed you, for it has minimized your power. There is no remedy within my power, however, for it is the Lord Himself who desired to do all this. So the purport will be, even a fallen person from Vaikuntha is more powerful than all demigods. Although Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, formerly Jay and Vijay, become asuras, the demigods of this material world could not control them, and therefore Lord Brahma said that neither he nor all the demigods could counteract the disturbance they created. They came within the material world by the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and He alone could counteract such disturbance. In other words, although Jay and Vijay assumed the bodies of Asura, they remained more powerful than anyone, thus proving that the Supreme Personality of Godhead desired to fight, because the fighting spirit is also within Him. He is the origin and everything, but when He desired to fight, He must fight with a devotee. Therefore, by His desire only were Jay and Vijay cursed by the Kumara. The Lord ordered the gatekeeper to go down to the material world to become His enemies, so that He could fight with them, and His fighting desire should be satisfied by service of His personal devotees. Brahma showed the demigod that situation created by the darkness for which they were disturbed was the desire of the Supreme Lord. He wanted to show that even though these two attendants were coming in the form of demon, they were very powerful, greater than the demigods, who could not control them. No one can surpass the acts of the Supreme Lord. The demigods were also advised not to try to counteract this incident, because it was ordered by the Lord. Similarly, anyone who is ordered by the Lord, Prabhupada is giving his personal realization, last line. Similarly, anyone who is ordered by the Lord to perform some action in this material world, especially preaching His glories, cannot be counteracted by anyone. The will of the Lord is executed under all circumstances. Last verse. विश्वस्य यः स्थितिः लयः उद्भव हेतो आद्यो योगेश्वर हि अपि धृतयोरयोगमायः क्षेमं विधास्यति स नो भगवान् सत्र्यैधीशस् तत्रः मद्यः विमर्शेण कियान् इहारतः. My dear sons, Lord is the controller of three modes of material nature, and is responsible for the creation, preservation, and dissolution of the universe. His wonderful creative power, Yoga Maya, cannot be easily understood even by the master of yoga. The most ancient person, the person of Godhead, will alone come to our rescue. What purpose can we serve on His behalf by deliberating on this subject? O Lord of the three worlds, the Lord of the three worlds, who is the cause of creation, maintenance, and destruction, is the original person, whose power of Yoga Maya cannot be understood by even the greatest yogi, will give security. What is the use of us deliberating on this? Srila Prabhupada writes, when something is arranged by Supreme Personal Godhead, one should not be disturbed by it, even if it appears to be reversed according to one's calculation. For example, sometimes we see that the power, this is a very nice personal application purport. For example, sometimes we see that powerful preacher is killed, or sometimes he is put into difficulty, just Haridas Thakur, beaten by Qazi in 22 marketplaces, or Christ was hanged. crucified or Prahlad was punished by tribulations. The Pandavas were put in with a direct friend of Krishna were put in difficulties. Their wife was insulted. So seeing all these reverses affect devotees, one should not be disturbed. One should simply understand that in these matters there must be some plan of Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Bhagavatam's conclusion is that the devotee is never disturbed by such reverses. He accepts even reverse condition as grace of Lord. One who continues to serve the Lord even reverse condition is assured that he will go back to Godhead, back to Vaikuntha planet. Lord Brahma assured demigod that there was no use in talking about how the disturbing situation of darkness was taking place, since the actual fact is that it was ordered by the Supreme Lord. Brahma knew this cause because he was a great devotee. It was possible for him to understand the plan of Lord, thus and the purport of this. We are dying right now. When will the Lord mitigate the situation? There you live or die depend on the desire of the Lord. But now at the time meant for protection, He will protect us. That is explained in this verse. We don't know how He will do it. Though Master of Yoga have all the knowledge, they do not know what will He do to rescue us from destruction. What is the use of us pondering this? Instead of us reflecting on this, we will simply do it. So here we end the chapter 16. Now we have 3 chapters. How we will finish next week? Pray to Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna will pray very hard, Prabhuji.
Lord Varaha and Hiranyaksha, that is the next chapter. And all 3 chapters, 17, 18 and 19, pastime of Lord Varadev. These 3 chapters is the pastime of Lord Varadev. So the last purport was good. The reverse is a mercy of the Lord, and simply, this is actually a verse paraphrase. Which is that verse paraphrase? Anybody can quote that verse? Yes, that is the mood of that verse. Tattva susumanam. Bhunkate pakva. Yeah, that is the verse. So anybody has any question or comment?
Actually, Prabhuji, I have a question.
Yes.
Prabhuji, you were mentioning that Vidura came or Yama came 3 times, and you mentioned
Not 3 times. At a one time in 3 forms.
Sorry, 1 time in 3 forms. You mentioned Valmiki. What is that?
There is a called Chandal Valmiki, different from the Valmiki who is a Adi Kavi for Ramayana. This is called Chandal Valmiki.
Okay, so he came during our Chatur Yuga or some other Chatur Yuga?
No, he was in the same time when Yudhishthira Maharaj and Vidur were here. He was also here. There is a Mahabharata. There is a story. When it was Rajsuya Yagya, it is said when the Yagya is over, there is a bell, it will ring automatically. Bell never rang. So they asked Krishna why. He said some saintly person is not fed. He said, oh, this Sahadev was taking care of saintly persons. Everybody came. He said, no. Arjun, you and Bhima go in that community of the Chandals where somebody is there by name Valmiki. Invite them tomorrow here to honor Prasad. So they both went there. They found him sitting in front of Tulsi with a cow dung, floor and chanting holy name. So they realized he's a saintly person, but living in this society of Chandal. They said, we are Arjun and Bhima. We have come here that tomorrow at Yudhishthira Maharaj's ceremony you should come and honor Prasad. He said, how come I come? I'm low born. He said, Krishna told us. He said, oh, anyway, Krishna has exposed me. Okay, I will come tomorrow. In the night, Krishna told to all the queens and Draupadi and everybody, tomorrow you cook all the good preparation because some great saint is coming. So everybody was cooking all night. Next day, this poor Valmiki came with his pot and standing outside the door. He said, "Give me whatever you want to give." He said, "No, you come and we will feed you prasad inside." Maharaj said. He went inside. So they offered him all prasad. So he took sweet rice, and then he took the bitter melon, and then he took the dal, and then he took the some sweet, and he mixed all. And then he started eating. Once bell rang, and then when bell stopped. So they said, "Well, bell rang, but why it stopped?" Then Krishna said, "Somehow you must have doubted him." Draupadi says, "Yes, we cooked so many nice preparation. He put everything together and eating like that." So I said, "What person is this?" Then you asked him. So they asked, "Why you did this?" He said, "Krishna is actually Bhokta. So he can relish all. The leftover is a prasad. And if I say, give me this, don't give me this, it means I am going to dishonor the prasad. So I am not Bhokta. I am simply relishing the mercy. So I have mixed everything. So I have not disrespected any prasad." At that time, bell rang. So everybody recognized. Then Krishna said he is the one expansion of Dharamraj, Yamaraj. And then he said, "I don't want to go back there. People will now worship me because the Pandava's bell only rang when I am fed." So he left his body. He entered his portion back into the Yudhishthira. So this is the story of that Valmiki. Because this Manduk Rishi told to the Yamaraj that why I am punished. So he said, "You are boy and you did some mischief with the ant." He said, "But boy knows what is wrong and right. Your rule is wrong." And anyway, in this material world, a king, a low bar, and a maid servant's son will always has to follow their master, so they will do sins. He said, "All right, then you go in 3 forms and try to yourself escape from sinful activities." So he caused the Yamaraj to become king as a Yudhishthira, to become son of maid servant as a Vidur, and to become Chandal as a Valmiki. And then he has to act in such a way that he should not incur any sin. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
That's it, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Prabhuji, is this in this pastime, is there a mention of Sunanda also, of getting cursed?
Not Sunanda, Jay and Vijay only. Nanda and Sunanda are drivers for the Vaikuntha planet, Vaikuntha aeroplanes to bring the Dhruva Maharaj. They came both to bring the Dhruva Maharaj from Badrika Ashram. Nanda and Sunanda. They are pilots.
But actually, I was watching Vishnu Puran on TV, and then there's this show that this Sunanda was cursed because he kept quiet all the time when this pastime happened. So he was also cursed. But I did not find
Maybe
it.
in some millennium, but they never believe the TV and BV.
Yes, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Because most of the time people are wasting their time in front of TV and BV. Hare Krishna. Sorry. Any other question or comment? I'm going slow, I'm sorry. Still, I'm not.
Bhagavatam slow is the best.
I'm not reading verses, so I'm not satisfied. But what can I do? I cannot finish otherwise.
Actually, the first day when you started with the sloka, each and every word explanation. So after that, you didn't get to time that to do in that way because.
Yeah, I relish that, but anyway, your time is very limited.
Bhavaji, after next week you are not available. You are visiting means.
I'm going to Badrinath with the Damodar Das devotees.
Okay. Both Badrinath. Okay.
From 15 we are there, 15 to 19 we are there, Eid holidays.
Okay.
And then I am speaking Bhagavatam for the this Oman devotee in Nagpur.
Okay.
Then I will be busy. So we have to finish next time. Next weekend we have to finish these 3 chapters. Pastime of Varadev. Hare Krishna. Not much we are
Hare.
discussing. Not much we are discussing or interacting.
Prabhuji, I'm going to read this and I'm going to come out with a lot of questions. I'm going to even read Sarartha Darshini and come back.
Good. Krishna, Hare Krishna. Thank you. Vacha kalpatrubhyasya kripa sindhu vyeva cha patitanam.